Have you ever considered taking a riverboat cruise in the United States, but you weren't quite sure if it was right for you? I'm going to tell you what it's like on the ship and give you a feel for the day-to-day activity so that you can better determine if this is the right vacation for you. Hi, I'm Sandy from Sandy Over 70. Welcome to my channel. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already and give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. My most recent river cruise was on the Tennessee River here in the United States. It was a 7-day cruise and it was on the American Cruise Line and the ship was American Symphony. I've been on many European river cruises and my first 3 U.S. river cruises were on the American Queen voyages, which unfortunately has now gone out of business. So I must now travel on American Cruise Line. It's the only one traveling the Mississippi River here in the U.S. except for Viking, which has 1 cruise ship on the Mississippi. I was aware of U.S. river boats for a long time, but I hesitated to book one because I had a feeling that it was for really elderly people. And I didn't think I was going to like it. So I kept going on large cruise ships. But somewhere in my early 70s, I decided I needed to try this. I had become one of these elderly people. So that was when I took my 3 cruises on American Queen voyages. And I love them. Last year I took my first American Cruise Line cruise and I love the itinerary. It was up in New England, but the ship was a little too small and old for me. It had 90 passengers. This ship had 180 passengers and had been launched only 2 years ago. So I will say I liked this ship much better. You can watch my tour of the ship and my tour of our cabin on separate videos. I'll put the links below. But now I just want to talk about ship life, what it feels like on these ships, and is it right for you? So let me start out by saying, in my personal opinion, if you're under 60, I cannot recommend this cruise line at all. I don't think you'll enjoy it unless you're with a group, unless you're with someone else who is older, perhaps a mother or a father, or you're with a family group, then that would be fine. Most of the people on these cruises are in their 70s and 80s, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were some in their 90s. On this particular cruise, for the first time, there was a 4th grader on board, and the cruise director really took her under her wing because it was such a novelty, and she was a lovely little girl. But you won't see that often. Let me start with the staff. They are wonderful. You couldn't ask for a better crew or staff members. I will say that compared to the large cruise lines, they seem much younger. The hotel manager, my goodness, he looked like he was 20 years old, but I guess that's just because I'm older. Everyone was competent, everyone was courteous. It's an all-American staff, and that's one of the reasons that the prices are so much higher than your large cruise ships where they use foreign staff. The cruise director's name was Hannah, and this woman had been in the job for 8 years, and honestly, I've never seen a cruise director with that much energy. I think she was about to bounce off the ceiling. She had so much energy. She was exhausting to watch, but she did her job very well. One interesting thing was that according to their newsletter, the captain had joined the ship just a year ago, and we never once saw the captain. I have no idea what he looked like. This is in contrast to my last cruise on the Celebrity Beyond, where Captain Kate was everywhere, and it was a totally different experience in that respect. They're totally different cruises. They're totally different cruise lines. But it was a noticeable contrast. I think it would have been nice if he had made an appearance at some time. Maybe he did and I missed it, but that's just a little note. These ships are relatively small. As I said, there's 180 passengers. When we got to our cabin, I noticed fairly quickly that the carpet between the bed and the closet was wet. And I thought, well, I will notify the staff. But before I could even do that, there was a knock on the door, and they brought in what they called a mini dehumidifier and set it up right there. And so it ran for 3 or 4 days until it was dry. Yes, it was a little inconvenient, but I was impressed with their response. They said that there had been a leak in the adjacent cabin and it was seeping into our cabin. So no problem there. They did what they had to do. The other thing that happened is, as we left Nashville in the late afternoon, it started storming really badly. I mean, I won't say it was a storm as much as heavy rainfall and very dark. And I thought, ooh, I wonder how long this is going to last. And it did last until the next day when we got to the next port, which was Grand Rivers, Kentucky. I did notice there again was wetness over by the sliding glass door. It lasted a day or two and then disappeared, but there was also a lot of wet carpets and dehumidifiers running in the lounges on the various floors. None of this was a problem. I'm just mentioning that it can happen. There wasn't any particular rocking that I felt on this ship. I didn't feel seasick. Sometimes when they go out into the open ocean on these small boats, you can really feel it, but I did not feel it on this particular trip. Next, I'm going to talk about the food because that's a big part of cruising, isn't it? And I am pleased to report that their food was really good. And I am a very fussy eater, so I wouldn't tell you it was good if I didn't think so. I can't recall a bad meal or anything that wasn't really delicious, so good for them. They did a great job on the food. They do it a little differently on this cruise line than on other cruise lines, very differently. In fact, you get a menu in the morning at breakfast, and they ask you to fill out the other side with what you would like to eat for lunch and dinner. They don't hold you to it at all. And if you can't remember, it's not a problem, because they're just trying to get a feel for how much food to make for such a few people. And they are trying not to waste a lot of food, so good for them. I'm going to show you a few of the menus from the main dining room so you can get an idea about the food. I'll also show you some photos of some of the food. There was an alternate dining room called the Sky Lounge, and this was a large room with a big bar, and you could have a breakfast here. They had food spread on the bar that you could eat, such as yogurt and pastries, or you could order a couple of other things that were on a shorter menu. We ate there several times, and it was very good, but there was almost no one in that room. I guess everyone preferred to go to the main dining room. We found it was a quick and really easy way to get breakfast on days when we had a tour. Now, they also do an abbreviated lunch there, and we ordered the pizza one day. Oh my, it was so good. It was a thick crusted individual pizza, and I can honestly say I think it was one of the best pizzas I've had on any ship that I've ever been on. And this was our 51st cruise, so I have some experience eating on ships. So kudos for their pizza, and again, there was really no one in this lounge. We were just eating by ourselves. I'm not sure I understand that, but that's what we found. This ship has a beautiful permanent bar in the river lounge. I say this because on some of the older ships, they would just set up a table, put the drinks on it, and then take it away after the cocktail hour. The cocktail hour runs from 5:30 to 7 every day, and you can have any beer, wine, cocktail, non-alcoholic drink that you like. It's included in the fare. And during this time, the onboard musician will play some background music. And on the area that would be considered the dance floor, they set up hot hors d'oeuvres, which are very nice. They'll also have some cold hors d'oeuvres, but they are served to you by the staff, and they're different every day. And I really, really liked that. I thought they do a great job with this. One day, we asked the cruise director to play some music because the onboard musician was not there at the time, and she put on some dance music, so my husband and I danced. And later on, when some peppy music came on, the staff behind the hors d'oeuvre table started dancing. I just thought that was so cute. Dinner is served in the dining room from 5:30 to 7:30, so you can either go and have your cocktail before or after dinner. Most people have their cocktails before and then all head over to the dining room basically at the same time. But we never had a problem in getting a seat in the dining room. It is open seating. You can dine with others, or if you can find a table by yourself, that's fine too. I know many times we didn't see any empty tables, so we did eat with other people, and that was very enjoyable. In the River Lounge at 8:20, the cruise director gave a rundown of the next day's activities, which was very helpful. Following that, there was evening entertainment. But the best part were the ice cream sundaes. They were in those tall, traditional ice cream soda glasses, but they were ice cream sundaes, and I had one almost every night. Really delicious. They also served popcorn during the entertainment. The entertainment ended at 9:30, and at that point, everyone left and basically went to bed, or at least went to their cabins and were not seen again. Well, it's 9:30, and the entertainment has ended. The bar is closed, and there is absolutely nothing to do on this ship except basically go to bed, which is what apparently most people do. But we do not normally go to bed at 9:30. And so here we are, wide awake. So the point is, if you go to bed very early, you'll love this ship. If you're a night owl, you may not like this ship so much, so you have to think about that. If you're looking for any kind of activity after 9:30, American Cruise Line may not be the cruise line for you. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful for you in deciding whether or not a USA River cruise is right for you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.